And welcome back to the final weekend where we are on the second half of the Saturday Showdown here with Shadu and CCP Fuzzy. Fuzzy, why don't you tell us what we're seeing on the field here?
Well, from Exodus, we have a triple Domi shield setup. They've got three Dominixes with a Basilisk to be their repper, quite possibly a Tinker team. We'll have to see how the energy transfers come out with that, but it seems very likely. And from the R0NIN, a bunch of damage that moves very fast. So Sleipnirs, and then they've got Moa supporting them. It's similar to what we had seen actually coming from Rote Capel, where they use Caracals instead of those Moas, but I think it's a very strong comp. I'm not sure if they're going to have the damage to quickly clear down these Dominixes, though.
Yeah, usually this kind of Dominic setup, especially when it's shield-based, has an upper hand advantage on a Sleipnir-based setup. And with that said, match is underway. Yeah. What we will see here is a R0NIN, of course, in a rush setup, speeding towards the Exodus team here in the blue, while the Exodus team is going to kite away to the edge of the arena as fast as they can. However, they are leaving a ship behind, a Dominix hole behind.
Yes.
Who is that and what is going on?
So it's one of their Dominix, is a Vuitton there. He's starting to move now, but it looks like he was actually just a little bit late on that. They dropped a whole swarm of Curators, actually a little bit longer range than the guards. Maybe they were worried that Exodus was going to be, or that R0NIN was going to pull back instead of charging, but they have charged in. And honestly, if you're Exodus, you wanted to have more damage done to these frigs by now.
Yes, they should have taken a Sleipnir or a Moa down by now. Going for that Merlin first seems a really weird decision.
Yeah, I mean,
indeed.
with the Curators especially, it's just not tracking it well enough. The Moa or the Merlin is under reps. Now they're switching to the Bassi. So I think that's
the
what
Basilisk is taking chunks. It is eating it hard. However, having said that, the Basilisk on the Exodus side is starting to take damage, but not tackled yet.
Yeah, the big advantage the Basilisk for Exodus is going to have is it's going to have the cap transfers helping it run that rep just continuously, while the Bassi for R0NIN is ASB repping, but he's going to be out of charges very soon.
And he is in low armor. He's dropping into structure, and he is gone. Wow, R0NIN take a strong lead in this match so far.
Yeah,
what do you think of that?
Especially considering that the Bassi for the R0NIN is still holding on just fine. It looks like he managed to actually get out of the tracking to most of those drones. This is a huge advantage for R0NIN. It looks like we're going to see this potentially go to the third match, the best of three. Always amazing.
Wow.
Knocking down that Dominix first, Vuitton there, who was the one that actually got left behind a little bit at the beginning. He now has the Moas right on top of him, and look at how fast he's going down. These shield dummies don't have the same kind of buffer that an armor dummy would, which means they hold up really well as long as the Basilisk is around, but once the Bassi goes down, they just get burned through.
The Basilisk on the R0NIN side is now tackled. He was painted, but they were still not breaking it. And it looks like now, if we follow the target painter, Exodus is swapping over to a Moa, and he is going down, and he is dead.
He is
that
dead.
One fast. If they would have gone for that Moa earlier on in the match, I just can't help to feel that there was some wrong target calling this time around from the Exodus side.
I mean, the great advantage that these Domi teams have always had in this tournament so far, you come in at 50, you pick off a bunch of ships on the way in, they fail to kill a frigate, now they're going after the Moas, it's great, but they're about to lose another Dominix too. So they're already down one Dominix, second one is going to be going through armor fast, remember he is shield tanked, and this is going to be, I think, a very clear R0NIN victory. Those Sleipnirs, even if the Moas go down, even if the Basilisk goes down, those Sleipnirs are going to be in a tank for quite a long time.
Absolutely. At this point in time, the Moas are simply there as a time sink. I don't believe they're going to be able to take down a Sleipnir. Having said that, the Sleipnir on Pavolko Dwymir is here in half shields, but of course he has both the ASB as well as the Basilisk still tanking. And as we just spoke, Exodus has lost their second Dominix, with the third one taking massive damage.
Yeah, I mean, I have always been a huge fan of the Sleipnir team. Sleipnirs are one of my favorite ships, especially in a tournament context. And we've just seen here Sleipnirs just overwhelm a Dominix team. It's quite possible that it was bad target calling off the beginning, but these Sleipnirs have the advantage of not dying so fast to these high tracking drones.
That is also true. And the last Dominix now on the Exodus side, Sturmquerer is taking heavy damage. He is scrambled now, webbed, neutered, and eating it fast.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a very convincing and fast victory, as you often see with these Sleipnir teams if they manage to pull it out. Just a ton of damage, very mobile across the field, and they're not even able to kill anything else, it looks like. They might try on one of the Harpies or the Moa next, but I don't think they're going to be able to break one of the Sleipnirs.
No, I don't believe so. Somehow they have not managed to kill this Basilisk, which I feel should have died by now.
Well, he looks like, there you go, he took a big hit there, but he's repping back. At this point, he's probably got his ASB reloaded from that first time he came under fire, so he's actually going to be a tank for quite a while, and there's not a lot of damage left. I mean, the Myrmidon's got some damage drones, probably, though he could have been using it for shield rep, I'm not sure, and then the Jaguars do a bit, but those carries and the Merlin aren't going to be adding a ton.
That's right, and most of the Jaguar's assault frigates now tackled, of course. They will be dying here shortly. Is this the first time a proper team has fielded a Dominic setup and lost?
It's very possible. This is a good Dominic's team. It's very similar to what we actually saw PL win with earlier in the tournament. A just long-range shield sentry Dominic's Tinker team. And in this case, it just got overwhelmed. R0NIN, obviously a team with an absolute ton of tournament experience. They were their first time in the tournament, I believe, was in the third Alliance tournament where they came in second, all the way back in AT3.
I can't help but feel that Exodus here, slightly less experienced, bringing out a Dominic's Tinkerish setup at this stage of the tournament. Maybe R0NIN here, putting those hard-earned years of experience into practice.
Yeah, one of the great advantages of a Sleipnir team against these Tinkers is that you can select your damage. So against these Dominics, it's very likely EM is going to be their hole. Against the Basilisk, it's almost definite that EM or Explosive will be the hole. The fact that unlike a Blaster team, you actually get to choose which damage type you're doing is very, very helpful against these teams that use Tengus or Basilisks for the reppers.
That's right. Now, having said that, Exodus dropped Curators. Against a team that was a rush-based setup, why not drop guards instead and do more tracking, better damage?
I have to imagine that they were afraid that the R0NIN was going to pull back and actually not charge in right away. It's possible they went for the damage types as well if they were trying to break. They tried to break a Merlin. It's probably going to be the damage hole, but you're still going to do more damage with guards than with Curators against a Merlin and within range of it. I really am kind of surprised at that initial drop, and I think it might have gone a little bit better for them with the higher tracking, higher damage short-range guards.
That's right. Of course, Exodus has the benefit of one win victory under their belts already, and they can take this match, learn from it, and I believe actually the third and final match between the R0NIN and Exodus is shaping up to be quite special.
It'll be amazing. They don't have a lot of time to learn from it, though, because they're going to have to do their bans immediately again after this match, and they'll have to be right back into the thick of things in 1 hour, so they really have to think fast.
They do indeed, and that's where the logistics backbone that we talked on the desk, of course, comes into play. Having enough pre-fitted ships to come back on the field with from a match where they lost everything is going to be the key.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they'll have seconds of these ships, but if they need to adjust something up, like maybe they're afraid, these Sleipnir teams, they're going to try to go for something that does, say, like a Kite Tengu team or something like that. They might not have everything ready for that. They might need to bring people in. There's all these kind of options of what they can do to counter it. Or R0NIN may just go for something completely different. I mean, this is not something that R0NIN has brought previously in this tournament.
No, and usually you roll out a Minotaur rush, Minotaur Kaldari rush like this once as a kind of a curveball.
Yep.
You don't want to plan on it because I believe if Exodus had a rematch with this exact competition again, they would know the ships to primary and they would roll them out of here. Right now, it looks like the R0NIN ships, of course, the Sleipnirs have stopped moving. They're not even trying to go after this Jaguar. They're probably looting the field. Perhaps their strategy right now, as you said, it's already not very much time to stop and think and refit and ban. They're just trying to draw that out as much as possible and not give Exodus, the slightly less experienced team here, any time whatsoever to come back with something that can win.
Yeah, I mean, that Jaguar is now tackled. It's very possible that Exodus actually has all those guys that are sitting in their pods now in some chat room, like separate mumble room or something, just talking about what they're going to bring next match because they have to be ready for it right away. We'll be asking them for their bans for their last match right away. And this is our first best of 3 we've had in the Alliance tournament ever, and it's going to be going to 3. I think that's very exciting to see that it wasn't a whitewash. As that Jaguar drops down, we will be seeing a final match of this Exodus versus R0NIN. But first, we have a rematch of what you saw right before the dinner time there, which is Pandemic Legion versus Hydra Reloaded. And we're going to send you back to Soundwave and then be back for that in just a minute.